Hello and welcome. Today I will be showing you how you can use Python to access Twitter. Now, before we get to coding, the first thing I'd like to say is what we're going to be doing is generating a few keys, and they will act as like a sort of backdoor way into your Twitter account. So just be wary of this process, that what you do is you essentially create another way in which other people could potentially access your Twitter account. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do before you start with any coding is to go to developer.twitter.com. So let's do that now. So what you can do, if I just sign out of my current account, sign out here. The first thing you need to do is you'll need to go to developer.twitter.com, and then you'll need to click apply if you haven't got an account already. And then what will happen is you need to submit your email address, log into your Twitter account, and then you'll get some verification, which you'll need to do within a certain time frame. And then what will happen is you can then come back to developer.twitter.com and then you can sign in. So after you've gone through that email verification, you just need to sign back in again. And so that's what I'll do here. I'll just use my email address and then I'll type in my password and then we can log in. Cool. So you'll log into your Twitter account, but just go back into developer.twitter.com. And then what you need to do is go to Developer Portal. Cool. And then here, what you'll need to do is you'll need to create what we call an app or a project. And when you create an app or a project, you'll get an information down here. So I've created one called A Rising 1. And then when you click on this, you will get here, when you click into your app, you'll get a list of your keys which you can then use in your Python shell, and that will give you access to your Twitter account in Python. So after you've done that, you'll get here your secret keys and your secret tokens, which you'll need to take note of, because as you can see here, after a certain date they will no longer be visible, and unless you've written them down, they will be permanently gone. So you'll need to regenerate them, and bit of a faff. So after you've done that, we're now ready to go back into our Python shell and to start creating our code to access our Twitter account. As well as go to developer.twitter.com and then creating your developer account, you will also need to do a pip install of Twitter module. So you type in pip install Twitter, and then restart your Python shell. You're now ready to use the Twitter function, the Twitter module in Python. So after you've done that, we can now get going. Finally. So first thing you need to do is import Twitter. And so with this Twitter, we now need to provide our secret keys and our secret tokens so that we have we can get into our account, our Twitter account. So let's do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make use of a function within Twitter called API. So if you type in twitter.a with capital A, PI, and then in brackets, if you type in consumer key equals, and then you put in your consumer key, and then type in comma, and then under that type in consumer underscore secret equals, and then in there you put your consumer secret key in there. And then if you type in comma, and then do the same thing again, but with access underscore token underscore key equals, and then you put in your access token key, and then exactly the same thing again with access underscore token underscore secret key equals, and then put in your key there. And these four keys are what is shown to you in your developer account here when you create your app or project. So after you've done those, submitted those four keys and entered it with our brackets, we can now give that whole piece of code here as the variable API. And this API is essentially you having logged in to your account. Nice. So now that we've logged in, and notice that we didn't even need our password or username, so be very careful. So now that we've logged in, we can now do a few things with this. So let's now let's see how many friends I have on my Twitter account. So if you type in API, which calls all of these keys, .get friends, and equate that to the variable users, we can now just do a simple print users function to print the number of friends that I have listed in my Twitter account here. So notice that it is very, very sort of blocky and it's a bit of a data dump. So what we can do now is we can make that a bit nicer by creating a loop, say for I users print I.name. So now we can make it look a bit nicer here. So here we have the list of everyone who is my friend on Twitter. I didn't realize Huawei, for example, was my friend on Twitter. Interesting. So what we can do then is we can start to get information on individual users as well. So we've got a list before, but now we can just print information on one user by using square brackets in that list and specifying a position. So if we then do print users and then in square brackets specify position in that list, so let's just go 1 to second position, we can then print here. You get a whole list of information, in a key value sort of format about that individual user. And then you can select one of these. So let's say followers.count, which I've got here below. And then you can just print individual followers for that user. So we can now do a start and print the individual followers of that user. 696. Cool. Nice. So instead of doing this bit down here, I'm going to skip forwards and I'm going to show you how to do something that's really exciting, and that is posting from your Python shell. So you're going to post into your Twitter account from your Python shell. One thing to be wary of when you want to post messages into your Twitter account from your Python shell is that the permissions when you create your key need to be set correctly. And what I mean is when you create your keys, down here, they'll be created with a certain permission criteria. So when I created my keys, I created it with a read-only permission. So that case, I can only read things in the Twitter. I can't post messages, I can't access direct messages, I can't potentially write things on it. It's only a read access. And so when you create your keys, make sure you know what you're going to be doing with your Python script before you create your keys. Because now I can't post anything onto my Twitter account. But if you did want to post something into your Twitter account, what you need to do is you need to get a read and write or read, write and access permission. And then you need to go into your Python shell. And then if you type in the following code, it will post things to Twitter. So if you type in API calling your keys, and then you type in .post update, and then in brackets of post update and in quotation marks, you can start writing whatever you want to be posted into as your message in Twitter. So in this case, you can put stuff like posting from my Python script and things like that. And then what you can do below that is do a print check by typing in print and then brackets status, which is the variable for API.postUpdate and your message .text. And then when you run that, if you've got the right permissions, Twitter will let you post from your Python shell into your Twitter account. So I hope that's a great introduction to the Twitter module. There's literally so much you can do. The documentation is really good and really clear. I definitely recommend reading that. And I may even do like a live session on this. I'm thinking about that. But please do subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. Please do get others to subscribe, and please do follow me on Twitter as well. And also donate to my Patreon if you want to do so. Thanks very much for watching.